Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Steel Sanctuary Podcast. I'm your host, David Barrow from SteelSanctuary.com. And this is my co host, David Coro. David, what's going on?
What's up, bro?
Dave, NFL schedule release is Wednesday night. We've got a few clues already. A few games have been announced. Opening night, Thursday night, Chiefs versus Ravens. Good game to start the season. Lamar
Damn,
Jackson against Patrick Mahomes. That should be a good one.
that is a good matchup to start.
And then Friday night game, dude. Thursday night, Friday night, college football all day, Saturday and Sunday, Monday.
You mean there's a Friday college game?
No, it's a Friday pro game.
What?
You
To
didn't
start?
notice?
No,
Green
no.
Bay
I told
Packers
I
against
told you I've
the
been busy. It's been crazy this week. What? So what's Friday game?
Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles in Brazil. Friday night.
Wow, Brazil game on a Friday night. This is strange, but I'll take it.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then one other game we know about, the Cowboys are playing the Browns apparently at 4:05. So you see a lot of people on Twitter today playing Blues Clues, where trying to figure out who the Steelers are going to open up against here. Uh, a lot of people assume the Steelers are going to open up on the road because the Pirates are at home that weekend.
Yeah.
Explain this one to me, Dave. We're not going to have a Steelers home opener because the Pirates are going to have 6,000 people at a meaningless September game. Is this what we're fucking doing? We can't have a home Steelers game. Paul
Well,
Skeens'
okay,
arm will have fallen off about a month before
so
that.
what you got to understand is that the way it's set up is the North Shore is got both PNC Park and Axer Stadium on the same side. They're literally right across from each other with Rivers Casino fit in there too. Um, so literally, you're talking about parking is going to be used for both. And you might think only 6,000 people are going to show up for the Pirate game, but what if they turn it around? What if Paul Skeens is pitching that night? There's lots of things that can go into this. If it's a
What if I was
Sunday
7 feet
game,
tall and
oh,
blonde?
yeah, but again, Paul Skeens, and two, that's like a special day. Sunday kids get to run on the bases, so people love to bring their kids. They can go run the bases. Sunday games are a popular game for them to go to. Now, if it was if they played on a fucking Monday night when everybody's got work or whatever, okay, and Skeens isn't pitching or Jared Jones, then okay. But I honestly get it. Why? Remember, we can't get a Super Bowl in Pittsburgh because of parking. Remember, they talk about we don't got enough parking, so they're not going to jam a Steelers game and a Pirate game at the same time because of the parking is going to be a nightmare.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, again, I didn't know about the Sunday thing with the kids running around the bases, but this is good. This is September 1st. Let's be real. The Pirates are going to be 30 games out by then, 25 games out by then, and then who's
I mean,
going to
it's
go to that
not
game?
it's not looking great.
I mean, let's be serious. All right. Anyway, so what the games that we do know, the Chiefs, obviously the Ravens, and the Eagles, and the Browns and Cowboys too are all on the Steelers' schedule. So we won't be playing any of them. And if it's on the road, we're left with the possibility of the Bengals, the Chargers, the Giants. I'm sorry, that's home games. I'm sorry, let me do this again. We're left with possible Bengals, Falcons, Broncos, Colts, Raiders, or Commanders. That's what's left for opening week.
I could easily see them wanting to go with a division game for ratings
I don't know. How about the Broncos?
or that. I mean, they're looking for some kind of drama, right?
Russell Wilson going
They're
back to Denver for
yeah.
week
I
one?
mean,
Come
that
on.
makes sense too. Like
NFL. Gotta do
either
that.
a division game because we usually face the Bengals. If you remember, we've faced the Bengals right off the rip a couple times in the last
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 years. Um, I'm trying to remember if we faced. No, we didn't face the Browns at all to start the season.
I don't think
Um,
so. Well, the Browns are playing the Cowboys, so they're out.
So it's been so lately it's been like the Chiefs and then the Bengals. So they're looking for a division game or a game that'll pique a lot of people's interest because of the drama. So Denver makes all the sense in the world.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean, if they wait too long, Russell Wilson could get hurt or Justin Fields could replace him. I mean, that's all within the realm of possibility. Get that game right off the bat. There's
Yeah.
some bad blood between Sean Payton and Russell Wilson.
Oh,
I mean, come on, makes all the sense.
I have no doubt that Russell Wilson would love to go in there and absolutely stick it up their ass. Yep, because they're still talking shit. Like they asked Sean Payton was at the draft, like if he had any regrets about Russell Wilson leaving for that kind of money, and he went nope, and just left it at that. It was like, wow, okay.
All right, that's the schedule. We're recording this on a Monday night. I'm sure by the time you guys listen to Tuesday, there'll be 100 more leaks, and we might even know the Steelers game by then. But I figured we'd jump on that because it's been really popular on Twitter all day. Dave, pour one out. Bud Dupree signed with the Chargers. The dream is dead.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
I know, he got a good contract.
I was like, really?
2 years up to $10 million, so there's got to be some incentives in there.
I was like, for Bud? Okay, hey, good for him.
And they have two pass rushers, so he's going to be a backup. So I don't get the money there.
I don't either. Maybe they haven't watched him in the last couple of years.
Well, in fairness, he had 6.5 sacks last year. That's pretty good. That's not earth-shattering, but it's not bad. That's
okay, but all right, calm down.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going to insult Herbig, but he would have been the third best pass rusher on the team by a wide margin.
Get out of here! Get out of here!
Can we please can we pump the brakes on Herbig being the next Pro Bowl?
You
superstar?
Want me to pump the brakes on Herbig? Meanwhile,
we gotta try, Dave.
You are. I was about to say some words I shouldn't say.
Say it.
Let's just say you're really kissing Bud's ass here. Like, come on. Like, my man has been shit for the last 2 years, 3. He hasn't really been anything since he left the Steelers. Really, let's be honest. He's raw.
6.5 sacks is pretty good.
Oh my gosh, no, it's not.
What did the Steelers' backup linebackers have for sacks total last year? They didn't even.
But Bud was a starter. Wasn't Bud a starter?
No, he was a rotational guy. Plus, he was hurt too.
Okay.
I believe.
I thought he was a starter.
No, I don't believe he started. He was hurt, and he kind of. Okay. I guess you could technically call him a starter, but.
Well, I can't trust what you're saying because you're so up his ass. I don't know. I think know the 6 compared to Herbig hardly ever getting a shot and getting 2-3 impactful plays. There's no way I would say that Bud would be the third best. There's just no way.
He would absolutely be. Come on.
No.
Herbig's made 3 plays in his life.
Yes, and he got 6 chances. Bud's gotten 3 years and has done nothing. But he's still getting paid. Like, hey, good for look, I'm happy for him. Like, if you can do what he does where it's really not much and get paid 10 million, 16 million, whatever, good for him. Good for him. That's why he wasn't signed with the Steelers, though. The Steelers probably only wanted to pay him probably a couple million.
Oh, sure. I'm sure they
and that was probably it.
I'm sure they all the shit out of him.
And he was just like, no.
Hey, Jim Harbaugh's a smart guy. He won a national championship. He sees something that we don't. I don't know. We'll see. What else do I have here? Dave, I am pretty concerned over this Cam Hayward extension talk. He said he wants to play 3 more years. He said the team's talking with him about an extension. If I were the Steelers, I would be very, very careful about any guaranteed money you give to Cam Hayward past this season. You're asking for trouble.
So here's my question, because this might be where you and I differ on this. See, I'm for it if it lowers the cap hit this season. Is that how it would work? Would it lower the cap hit?
It almost definitely would. But how much guaranteed money after this year are they going to give him?
They got to do it in a way where it lowers the cap hit this year. So that way, that gives them even more leeway to go get whatever wide receiver they can get that's not mid. If they could avoid that, it'd be great.
I don't think they're playing we talked about
anyways, that. I know, but I'm just saying, I'm for
they can afford 15 more fourth wide receivers now.
Right. Literally. But I'm just saying, if it lowers the cap hit on him this season, then I'm for it. Because it is Cam. He is a great leader. But I agree with you. I think he is. I think he's a great leader. What is he? Really?
Is he?
Yes.
I don't know about that. Listen, he's the model citizen. He's everything you want in a football player. I won't take that away from him.
Okay.
But he's not a guy that steps up and chews teammates out or, I guess maybe more lead by
I
example
don't know
type
about
guy.
that. I've seen him chew guys out.
I haven't seen it. I've seen Minka do it. I think Minka's the leader on the defense.
Oh, well, Minka is a great leader, yeah. But I've seen him chew guys out. I've seen him do it on the sidelines. I've seen him do it. If they don't line up right or they do something stupid, I've seen him get in their ass a little bit. Now, mind you, is he like Minka though? No, but nobody's like Minka. I mean, Minka's legit. But I'm not gonna say Cam's not our leader. Come on, he's a leader. He's the last one to come from all the greats that were on the 05 to 2010 team.
Listen,
like
I'm not trying to downplay him as a professional. He's a great player for this organization for a long time, but the time is up now. He's 35 years old. You extend this guy and give him guaranteed money, you're asking for trouble.
So, I hate to interrupt you, but Dallas Cowboys will play the Cleveland Browns, and it'll be Tom Brady on the call for Week 1.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, is that already known? Sorry.
Yeah, that was announced this afternoon.
Sorry, I've been busy all day, people. I literally just now have stopped to look at my phone. Anyways,
that's the third game that we found out that's been announced. It's 4:05, I guess. So Sunday night is still up for grabs. Monday night's still up for grabs, as far as we know. Yeah, if they extend Cam and the guarantees are small, then I'm all for it. So you cut him, you don't have a lot of dead money. If something goes wrong, I'm all for it. But if you're going to start giving him a regular contract, it's too risky for me. He's 35 years old, defensive tackle. You don't.
No, I get what you're saying. I really do. I'm just for it to lower the cap. That's all. Am I thinking, oh, he's going to be amazing? No, I'm not thinking that either. A lot of injuries, the age. I hope I'm wrong. I hope he's incredible and kills it.
So do I. I mean, I'm rooting for the guy, but I don't see it. I just don't see it. I just let him play out the season. If he's good, re-sign him for another 1-year contract. And keep going 1 year at a time until he's done.
All right, let me throw this at you then. If extending him lowers the cap hit where they can afford Aiyuk and then some, are you for the extension? Knowing it'll lead to Aiyuk or, Debo or
DK, I mean, if you could guarantee me Aiyuk or Debo Samuel, I'd probably have to. I think they have enough money now to do it, though. I don't think they need to do it.
Not really, because they like to have that 5 to 10 mil open. They really don't. So if they would do it, I mean, then it gives them everything they want.
That kind of changes everything, because if you have Brandon Aiyuk, then you're going for the Super Bowl.
Right.
Then fuck it. I'm all in for that.
Right. And see, that's my whole point. My whole point is that they have that 5-10 mil they want to save in the back of their head. So they may have 19 mil on paper, but it's not good enough. They need to do about one more restructure or extension or whatever the fuck they got to do to get that money freed up to where they still got some in the tank if they need it for an emergency situation and can go get Aiyuk. So that's why I think they're going to him for the extension. I think my man Khan's cooking, brother. He's like, let's go ahead and get that extension, lower your cap hit, and then we can go get, whoever, hopefully. Or 10 more mid guys. We're going to have a mid off at training camp and see what happens. One of the two.
That's what I'm afraid of, among other things. If they're going to extend Cam and then we're going to go in with this team as is, and what the hell's the point? You've just opened yourself up to dead cap for no reason. And you could do this carefully where it's only small guarantees with the extension, so it's not so bad. And that's what I assume they're going to do. But I don't want to see some giant, here's a kiss for all you've done for us. We're going to give you, 20 million guaranteed over the next 2 seasons.
If they do that,
you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm afraid of.
I'll be pissed if they do that. I'll be like, what are you doing? Like, you just guaranteed the mid off with all the wide receivers at training camp. If you do that, like,
well, they can do it and still lower his cap this year. That's what, they can have both. Because they can backload it and
and that's what they need to do. And then when he's over the hill and done, they can just cut him and not have to pay him the backloaded portion of the contract.
Well, again, it depends on how much guaranteed money. Because if it's guaranteed, then I have to pay him no matter what. So it's tricky. I mean, listen, I don't want people to come away with this thinking I don't like Cam Hayward, because I do.
You're toeing the line there. I mean, you said he was not really that big of a captain kind of guy.
I don't. So I think he's just.
I disagree there. He's
some of the things
I've
that
seen him.
the begging for Pro Bowl votes kind of turns me off too. Some of the things he does online, I don't know.
I think Cam tries to be a leader and a businessman. I think he does know how to separate him. And I think that he knows if he gets that Pro Bowl nod, that's incentives for him maybe that we don't know about.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
He's a business dude. So like he's gonna go. I'm not gonna bash Cam. Like he's definitely been hurt a lot and hasn't been his best. When healthy, let's hope he's still a better version of himself, but I'm not expecting it because of how old he is. So it's alu all over again. Is he going to be able to come back from this and be still a really good defensive lineman? We'll see. But hey, we got Ben, and I'm praying to God Ogunjobi like steps up.
Yeah.
So
you get flashes of Ogunjobi. It's hopefully it gets more consistent. That would help out tremendously.
He's another injury-prone guy. He's another one that's the problem.
That's why not. Well, they couldn't draft everything, but you kind of in the back. We kept saying they would draft a defensive tackle a little earlier because.
Thank God for Adams. Like, if it wasn't for Adams and Benton, we'd have been cooked this past season. Like, I don't know. It's a situation where that Cam's got to be healthy and hopefully be good enough. But I'm for the extension, just for the record. I'm for it, and
I'm only against it, but
only because it would lower the cap hit and maybe they can make the move that they need to make. But we'll see.
All right, Steelers rookie camp was this weekend. Not a lot to report, but something very important did happen. Troy Fautanu lined up exclusively at right tackle. And something interesting, Mason McCormick was exclusively a right guard.
Yeah.
So if I'm James Daniels, I'm calling a realtor this afternoon and say, get my shit ready because
remember I brought up both Seumalo and Daniels because he's a left guard in college. Yeah. So I was like, oh, what are they going to do? So they went right. So he's definitely the heir apparent after Daniels is gone.
They're planning no doubt. Daniels life after Daniels for sure.
They are.
That's the way it seems anyway. And they could turn around and sign him and surprise us.
But the key thing here is what you were saying. Fautanu played right.
Right.
So that means Broderick is going to left. They're doing it. Finally, it took them how many years to realize?
Well, it's only rookie training. Let's see at OTAs and then if they keep this going or they move them back. Hopefully they don't. But the signs are good. The signs are good to start out. And it's only 3 days of practice, but hopefully they stick to this because this needs to happen. The Dan Moore experiment needs that.
They said my boy was a standout amongst the rookies.
Yeah.
Frazier.
Zach Frazier looked very good. Well, you brought him up, so I was gonna ask you about this. I've seen a few places. People are raving about Adonai Mitchell. Like this guy is gonna kill it this season. He was picked one pick after Zach Frazier. Are we gonna look back at this and say, "Fuck, we should have taken Adonai Mitchell"?
I don't think so. I mean, we needed a center. Like, can you imagine? So do it this way: you don't take Zach Frazier. How bad could it have ended up for them?
Yeah, it would have been Van. The hell's the kid? I forgot his name already. The Georgia kid.
Oh, yeah.
Him out of my mind.
I brain dumped him already too.
Van Pran.
Yeah.
Cedric Van Pran. Yeah, I don't know what kind of pro he's going to be.
Right. But see, we got a guy that is standing out. I know his RAS score wasn't that great, but he was still injured and just forced it from what I read. So, dude's a beast. I think we're not going to regret it at all because the other options were horrendous. Like, as far as center goes. Okay, cool. We get Adonai Mitchell. Russell Wilson gets killed because somebody runs up the middle and whoever doesn't, I'm just saying, like, at least with the defense with corners, we at least got JPJ. And I could even make the argument that, hey, you hope that Trice is healthy enough because he did look really good last year in camp. So at least with that, you've got one solid corner, possibly two. With center, you don't got shit. Like, you don't got nothing. So that's the way I look at it. You just might have plugged in a 10-year guy as your center.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping. Hey, look, I could be dead wrong. Suck. But
I'm not going to kill the Steelers for passing on to Adonai Mitchell. They needed a center. Frazier's a good center. Just the narrative with with Frazier is he's going to be solid.
Is Adonye
borderline
going to be
Pro
elite?
Bowl.
Is Adonye Mitchell going to be elite?
Is going to be
and
elite. That's the question.
Tough. No,
people are saying,
hey, we can talk about it with going with Fautanu and not passing on all the literally number one corner on the board.
Yeah.
So that was Quinton Mitchell. So you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I know. I'm just.
I'm sorry. You're talking about Adonye. Were you talking about the wide receiver? They didn't take the wide receiver.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm saying corners. Well, wide receiver. Right. That's a different subject.
Why you don't think they needed a wide receiver that bad?
No. I'm saying they had a huge hole at that, so that could end up being.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay, I'm sorry, I got your Mitchell mixed up. Good. All right, so I'm tracking now. So you're saying the wide receiver, Adonye Mitchell, not Quinton Mitchell. Okay.
No, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have.
Too many fucking Mitchells.
Too many
Mitchells. So yeah, no, you're right on this one. I agree more with this. Like, I hope we don't regret it. Yeah, because they didn't get that stud wide receiver. I mean, don't get me wrong, Roman Wilson's a good pick. But
no,
as far as an outside projected stud,
yes,
I wouldn't go that far with Roman Wilson. So, yeah, we could see. Remember, I listed that as one of the big things they passed on in our draft post draft pod. So yeah, no, this is something. It is where I could be like, man, I hope we don't regret this. Absolutely.
I heard he picked number 10 to be his number because 10 wide receivers were taken before him. And he's all pumped up. Yeah, we could look back at this and listen. There were some red flags with him too. He's got diabetes, and I guess he doesn't pay attention to it. He doesn't, control it like he should. And the coaches were always on him.
Who did he go to?
The Colts.
Colts,
yeah.
Okay.
So, and the Colts general manager just came out because they were asking about the red flags. Like, listen, stop it. This guy's a good kid. He's a good player. Don't worry about the red flags. It's nonsense. So we'll see. It struck me when I saw I saw an interview on X and how he was talking about why he picked 10 and how some people are raving about he had a good weekend in Colts mini camp. And it's like, oh man, I hope they didn't.
I don't know, man. I mean, we could end up regretting it if he goes off and our wide receiver core is what it looks like it's going to be right now. Yeah.
I got it. I'm telling you, it's George Pickens and the rejects.
I guess my argument with this is that it's a double-edged sword for the Steelers.
Yeah.
You either take Adonye Mitchell and now you're good to go at wide receiver and you're a sieve up the middle to sacks, really. You know what I'm saying? Or you take what they did. They went with the center because in the end, you have to remember they have to protect Russell Wilson. He stands in the pocket. Him and Justin Fields stand in the pocket more than anybody. So you could just argue that it was just more important to get that O-line situated to protect them. Because like I said, you can go have the second best wide receiver, whatever. But if you're getting your quarterback killed, he can't throw to him. So yeah,
I was going to do the exercise, but then I didn't think it made as much sense. Would you rather have Adonye Mitchell and Van Pran or Frazier and Roman Wilson?
Right.
Roman Wilson is just good enough, and Frazier is way better than Van Pran, where it kind of doesn't make sense. You had to kind of.
Well, yeah, yes and no. I mean, you got to decide. Do you want the better wide receiver or do you want the stout center that can plug and play? And like I said, for me, it is the center because the wide receiver is no good if the quarterback's dead. I mean, in the end, that's what it is for me. So
it's that ceiling argument, though, right? Frazier's ceiling's about here, and Adonye Mitchell's ceiling's through the roof. So you kind of are you ready to gamble? I don't know.
So we got some guys on here on YouTube. Tanner Myers, I'm glad they took a swing at fixing the O-line this year instead of taking skill positions like wide receiver and corner in the first and second rounds.
I mean, yes.
I think that they got it. If it was a guy that didn't stand in the pocket so long, then maybe they could, take a chance a little more, but they can't.
You solidified your offensive line. You did. And they kind of dug themselves in the hole where they kind of had to. But you could have had the Mitchell brothers, basically. You could have had Quinton Mitchell, a multiple Pro Bowl corner, and Adonye Mitchell, a multiple Pro Bowl wide receiver. I mean, if you're swinging for the fences.
When you again, but he's like just like what he said. They took a line instead of because of the fact that they need it because they've got the two worst quarterbacks when it comes to keeping the ball too long.
It is.
They made that decision because of that reason, and they had to get better on it anyways because it was horrible last year. So I get it. I don't have an issue with it because of that reason. Steelers Freak said Khan inherited many holes and player issues, too much to fix in just 2 years. The Steelers aren't one wide receiver muscle move away from a trophy. He said, I watched enough Fields tape to know he isn't the answer. So Steelers Freak is down on Fields. My man said no.
I'm not as down on Fields. I'm back and forth, Dave, between Fields and Russell Wilson, who I want to see start week 1. I'm on the fence. I want to see some preseason games. I want to see.
I think he's on to something though, because remember I told you I said last year it's going to take 2 more years to be Super Bowl contender. Remember I said
they're not.
It's going to take. They're not Super Bowl contender yet.
They're not.
And I agree with him in that manner. I do because I see what I see and I see what Tomlin does and it ain't great. And and now the moves they've made with Arthur Smith and so I agree. At least a wide receiver, probably maybe another corner. Unless they hit on Trice. Trice changes everything. By the way,
yeah, that's. I don't want to be a hypocrite and give them shit about taking offensive linemen when I've been screaming for the last 3 years for them to draft offensive linemen. But it's a good argument. It's a good discussion.
Yeah,
those two guys.
Tanner Myers said this is year 2 of a multi-year rebuild, and like Philly, we were building from the inside out for most part. Thank you, Andy Weidel. And like he's not wrong. Like the Philly went trenches, D-line, O-line, and I mean, look, dude, they went to a Super Bowl. So in theory, it's not a bad idea. Fields Freaks doubling down. He said Fields has slow processing, a slow backup motion, a slow delivery. My man's not impressed. How do you feel about Wilson
then? Wilson's. You just described Russell Wilson the same thing. The thing about Justin Fields though is he can change a game with his legs, and then look, it's hard because Chicago was such a shit show.
Thank you. I was literally about to call it a shit show. It's so funny. You read my mind.
Chicago was such a shit show.
Chicago's a shit show. It's always been a shit show, and it's going to be a shit show. But it's been that way since Brian Urlacher days. So in that environment, I don't know what he can be capable of surrounded by good coaches and a good foundation with good play. I don't know. I don't know if he can be better. But we thought Mitch Trubisky had a rough time in Chicago.
I was just going to say that. We said the same thing.
He just ended up shitting the bed. He is bad. So it's one of those things. It's tough. Good luck.
All right. The Steelers signed somebody out of this rookie camp. Anthony Averett from he played in Baltimore the last couple seasons.
Yeah, he actually is a veteran. Really, he's been around 6 years, 7 years.
He was in Vegas last year, not in Baltimore. He was in Baltimore in 21, where he had three interceptions and 10 pass breakups that year with Baltimore. He's got 4.36 speed, which I was surprised when I looked him up. I thought he was a slot guy, but looking at his snaps, he played mostly outside. He does have some slot experience, but he's mostly an outside corner, which it gives them. They need depth. We talked about it in the last pod.
I think they're trying to hope they hit on a Mike Hilton. I really feel like that's what they're trying to do here. I think that Jackson is definitely going to be their other outside corner, and they're looking for a backup plan in case Trice is not it.
Yeah,
I really think that's what they're doing.
And they're gonna sign. They have to sign another player to play slot. They don't have anybody. Darius Rush is a slot corner. He's not. He's an outside corner.
Bishop, baby.
Cam Sutton.
Bishop's going to take it.
Well, they do have Bishop, so it's possible. I'm willing to try him over some. They don't have. There's nobody on the roster.
My thing is just keep adding guys and see who in the end who wins it out. I mean, the only way to know is to keep stacking these players, use UDFA's and get them in there. And I'm okay with the Everett signing too because hey, you just never know.
I'm okay with
a guy might just fit a system better or something, So. Find that guy. Find that slot corner, please, or bring Cam Sutton back. Whatever.
Sutton, we keep mentioning Pat Pete as a possibility too, and it hasn't happened.
Look, I don't want to hear that man's name anymore.
I don't either,
like,
buddy. But
no,
I'm just I'm trying to prepare myself for when it happens because I think it's going to happen. I'm just trying to get my brain, wrap my head around it because it's
over that. Like
I am too.
I
mean, as a backup,
backup
all three positions.
But he just does not
bring him to start.
He just doesn't pass the eye test for me anymore. I watched that dude, and he looked slow. He went into business for himself several times when it came to tackles, and I'm good. I'm good.
All right, so I don't know if you saw it, but this thing's been going around Twitter. I don't know I'm sorry, I should have paid attention to who floated it. I think it was PFF maybe. Or is Ben Roethlisberger the best Steeler of all time? And I'm like, that doesn't pass the smell test. I don't even know why you'd ask that question.
Well, you're older, so I could see you wanting to go 70s Steelers, right?
I've got a few. I'm gonna throw some names at you. You tell me.
If I know,
tell me if they're better than you think.
Oh man, are we gonna do it versus a Steeler versus Steeler?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
Because I don't think Ben's in the top 5. Top of your head, do you think Ben's in the top 5? Before I go through these names.
God, that's
and it's tough because you're comparing some defensive players to quarterback. It's a wide receivers to quarterback.
Do the matchups, and I'll eliminate who I eliminate. Go ahead.
All right. My personal favorite, Troy Polamalu.
Oh, Troy versus Ben.
Yeah, as greatest Steeler of all time.
Oh,
this is a no-brainer for me.
I have to go Troy.
You have to.
I have to. I'm sorry.
I don't hate Ben. I mean, towards the end, he would get on my nerves, but
let's be honest. Besides the drive when they won the Super Bowl in the 2008 season, he was horrendous in the 2005 Super Bowl and did not do good in the 2010 season Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that's the thing to me that kind of would make me choose Troy over him.
They won the Seattle Super Bowl despite him, not really because of him.
Right.
He didn't play a good game.
And that's my point. Now, I mean, shit, dude, but he made some amazing plays.
I'm not. Listen.
Like I just that's tough. But if I had to pick one or the other, definitely Troy. Because when I think of like safeties, there's Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu. Like of my time of growing up when I was really starting to get into football until now, like those two are it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I'd probably take Troy. Troy wins out. Give me another one.
All right, this one is I couldn't decide, and I'll give you tougher ones. But Rod Woodson, this is a multi-time. Let's put it this way: he was considered the best cornerback of his era. And I'm going to ask you this a couple times: was Ben Roethlisberger ever considered the best quarterback of his era?
No, he had Manning and Brady in front of him.
Rod Woodson was far and away the best corner of his era.
He was, but they didn't win anything with him.
They did not win any Super Bowls with him.
But
is that really his fault? I mean, guy was an all-pro kick returner, cornerback.
Yeah, I know that. But I mean, like when you're talking about guys that did help you get to that Super Bowl, I mean, Ben did help get into the Super Bowl. I mean, we didn't sniff a Super Bowl, minus the one that lost to the Cowboys. Yeah. Besides that, we didn't sniff a Super Bowl, bro. Ben comes along, we get to go to 3. You know what I'm saying? Like that's definitely an impactful thing. So I think I take Ben over Rod Woodson.
I think I take Rod Woodson, but that's me. This one is easy for me. I don't know if it's going to be easy for you. Joe Green, Mean Joe Green.
Oh, against Ben?
Against Ben, yeah. We're going
against Mean Joe Green. There's no doubt. Mean Joe Green.
All right. So we're definitely Troy and Joe Green. We'll put Rod Woodson aside for now. Jack Lambert. I think he's one of the...
I'll go Ben.
No, Dave, no.
I go Ben. I go Ben.
Right.
I go Ben. I go Ben.
I go Jack Lambert. Mel Blount. I mean, they changed the rules because of him.
Yeah, like that's
4 Super Bowls.
Yeah, I mean, oh man, this is hard. This is hard. Like I can't. It's hard to stick up for Ben with you hitting me with all the goddamn 70 Steelers. Fuck.
It's tough. Well, this is the franchise. They have too many good players to call
I
You know, if
know.
you say one guy's the best, you better
I,
have
I'm
something to
just
back it up.
I'm just saying like we don't have these Super Bowls in the 05, 08, and the 10 appearance without Ben. Like Ben just we didn't have nothing for 20 years, Dave, until Ben came along.
I
Like
mean,
that means something.
yeah, absolutely.
So like
Absolutely. But, he didn't do
Lambert
it by himself. I mean, those
see here
defenses were pretty stacked for them, too,
right, that's what I'm
on
saying.
Ben's
Like
team.
Lambert was on a team that was just stacked with
No,
Hall
but
of
I'm talking
Famers
about
everywhere.
when Ben played, those defenses were
Oh,
pretty stacked, too.
yeah, but we can actually you're actually helping me make my point then. Ben didn't have as many Hall of Famers around him as Lambert and Blunt and
Yeah,
all
true. Yeah, true. True.
so I mean, and don't get me wrong, they're all great in their own right, but when you talk about how many Hall of Famers did Ben have around him? In fact, can we count how many Hall of Famers did Ben have around him in his career? You have
All
Troy.
right. Troy.
Alan Faneca. Right?
Pouncey probably ends up in a Hall of Fame at some point, I think.
We're not going to do shoulda, coulda. Don't do shoulda, coulda, woulda. Yes.
Listen, there's still he's not even eligible yet.
Well, I'm just saying, let's just strictly go off who's in the Hall of Fame. So Ben's had what? How many more? What? You can't put people in the Hall of Fame when they're not in the Hall of Fame yet.
Pouncey's going to be in there.
Yes, but you can't put.
He's a Hall of Fame caliber player. Let's put it that way. You can't just say, and you can't ignore the fact that Pouncey played for him and was a great player.
So quotations. So now the Steelers have put like 40 players from the 70s.
Wow, listen,
in the
the 70s teams were better. I'm not going to argue that.
You're biased. That was your era, right? When you were young.
Well, I was a little young for it, but yeah, I was
young, but you were around.
I was around for sure.
And that definitely made an impression on you. So
I mean,
yeah. So for me, I mean, you gotta remember, like that, I didn't have that. Mine was Ben. Like it was, I was deployed whenever they drafted Ben. I was actually deployed. So they draft Ben, and like I just remember, like I come home, and then that following season, it's incredible. We go 15-1, and like I associate myself with him because that next year I deployed again, and watching those games in the playoffs where I'm deployed, like. And seeing him do what he did, so I think now I'm a little biased for Ben because
you're nostalgic for Ben like I am.
Yeah, because those are some moments in my life I'm not going to forget. Yeah. Along with Ben and what he did, and them going to the Super Bowl, in 05 season, and then doing it again in 08. Yeah, I don't know. Ben came along, and then we started seeing Super Bowls again. That's the way I look at it, and that's why for me it's like you have to put Ben up there. Do I say top 5?
All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Okay, fine.
Antonio Brown. Take the horseshit antics out of it. Just player on the field.
Oh man. Whoo. That is tough.
It is tough. It is tough because again, Antonio Brown was probably the best wide receiver of his era, or close to it.
I take Ben, and here's why. They never won one ring with Antonio Brown. But they won 2 without him and did 3 appearances without him.
True. Again, it's
like a tie. It's almost like a tiebreaker. Like, because I mean, he was amazing.
Because when Antonio Brown came, the defense fell off. Right. All those players got old. Troy was getting older.
It's true.
James Harrison was older.
That was my issue with Thomas. Is as a defensive coach, you had like 2 or 3 Ferraris on offense, and you're a defensive guy, and you did not make that defense good enough.
No doubt.
So, yeah. Oh man, I saw a good one here. Jerome Bettis. Versus Ben.
I would take Ben over Jerome.
Yeah,
I would take Ben over Jerome. I like Jerome. He's in the Hall of Fame, right?
He is.
He is in the Hall of Fame.
I think. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Did he? Right.
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did.
We should probably look that up, but
I forget. I could have sworn I watched his speech. I'm pretty sure he did.
So just so we're not talking out of our ass.
Anybody here? Oh man, so Steelers freaks. He says Ham, Stallworth, Swan, Green.
Well,
Harris,
I was going to get to
Lambert,
them.
Woodson, Webster.
Yes, Bettis is in the Hall of Fame.
Okay, I thought so. I was going to say, I thought he did a.
All right, so AB, are you taking AB or are you taking You took Ben.
I took Ben.
I'm gonna probably take Ben on that one too. It's close though. It's real close. He brought up Jack Ham. I don't think I shouldn't say that.
Not for me.
Jack
It's
Ham
Ben.
Was good.
He was good.
Jack Ham was good.
I'm not lying. I think. But
I think I would take Ben over him.
I'm taking Ben over him. As far as Stallworth goes, and Swan.
Both of them, man. Both of them.
See, this is why I don't know if Ben can make top 5.
Yes, I'm telling you. I don't think you ask if he's the best Steeler of all time. I'm like, bro, he's not even.
I mean, 5. In an era where, where you didn't throw the ball as much. I mean, they were incredible.
And then Steelers Freak brings up TJ Watt, which is a good one.
Wow, TJ
Watt set records. He's got the all-time single season sack record. Defensive MVP. Ben Roethlisberger never won MVP, right? Never.
No. I mean,
yeah, TJ's another one. I didn't even think of TJ when I was doing this list. That's an excellent call by Steelers Freak.
Like as far as like at their position, I mean, yeah, he's incredible, but like this is tough because again, we have not gotten one Super Bowl even appearance with TJ Watt.
But again, I don't think the only position that can really affect going to a Super Bowl is quarterback. It's not fair to say, we didn't go to Super Bowl with X player from a position because it's 22 guys on the field. Quarterback touches the ball all the time. The rest of them.
So to go back to the beginning, they tried to say that Ben was the best player of all time.
That's and they were asking the question. They were posing the question: is Ben Roethlisberger the best Steeler of all time?
I can't go there, but I mean, I think there's a discussion for him to be top 5, top 7, something like that.
I would go top 7
because there's just so many Steeler greats from the 70s and a couple from the 2000s. Like it's tough. It's tough. I mean, and I feel bad. Like, he brought up Green. And, you brought up Woodson, the 90s, we had some of these great Steelers. It's hard for me because of the fact we did nothing with it. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing. But you could go back and go, that's because we had Mike Tomczak and we had,
that's what I mean. It's so dependent on the quarterback.
So I don't know.
How about Terry Bradshaw?
Hard for me to pick against them. Oh, geez. Look,
you're the big guy talking about Super Bowls. He's got 4.
Well, and that's why I probably picked Terry. I do because.
Would you pick Terry?
Here's the thing. Yeah, and here's why. He had to call his own plays.
Yeah.
They were allowed to absolutely murder him back then. They could
see some of the highlights.
It's
ridiculous.
They could break his arm and it was okay. Yeah. And then the guy would just throw bombs and was accurate and 4 rings. I mean, I don't know how you could pick Ben over. I mean, now mind you, Ben may have all the like stats, right?
Yeah, but it's a different era.
It's a different era.
Yeah.
So I picked Terry over Ben. So yeah, I guess I'm saying Ben's not top 5.
And
he's top 7. I'd probably go 7, top 7, top 8.
Mike Tomlin. I mean, Ben Roethlisberger had his coaches stroking his ass his entire career, whereas Chuck Noll hated Terry Bradshaw and treated him like shit. Was on his ass 24/7. He did not have an easy time in Pittsburgh. Whereas Ben definitely, they worshiped him almost.
Darth Sniper said, "You got to count Pouncey, brother. He doesn't like I won't count Pouncey." I'm sorry. I'm being technical. It's a technicality. He's not in yet. Okay. Yeah. What else?
Richard Kirkson said, "I'm not putting linebackers over Ben, bro. I don't know how old you are. Go back and watch Jack Lambert dominate games. Just go watch. Then you might change it too."
I mean, honestly, it's like just pick every 70s player and then put Ben like 30th and call it a day.
No, I wouldn't. I told you.
I mean, like, what are we doing here? Like,
I take Ben over Jack Ham.
I'm just saying, like, there's so many great 70s Steelers players. Like,
I wouldn't take Swan and Stallworth over Ben. I would have Ben over both of them. They were both great players. I love them both. But I'm thinking 6 or 7 is fair for Terry Bradshaw, for Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Steelers Freak said that Killer Bees with no rings is a serious team stain in team history. I cannot agree.
And that's on Ben too. That's on Ben too.
Ben, Tomlin,
Yep.
Just the whole thing. Just I still just am in shock even to this day that they allowed that team didn't even sniff an appearance. Not even an appearance.
To be kind of fair, I don't even think they played maybe 2 playoff games with it all on the field at the same time. Yeah. It was always one of them hurt.
Richard Krikorian is 45, so he was born like literally towards the end of the 70s.
Yeah,
I'm 40, so he was born right at the end of the 70s. So he was a little baby. He didn't get to really see it. Yeah, and I didn't either. But admittedly, I didn't get to see it. So, but that's tough, dude. Like man, when you start naming names, it's like shit.
This is like the gold standard of players.
Right.
You want to ask if that one player is the best of this organization, you got to go through a lot of names.
Right.
A lot of names.
We're talking about 20 years. A guy comes along and 3 Super Bowl appearances later, 2 rings later. That should garner some pretty top respect.
He's up there. But you're up against guys with twice as many Super Bowls as him.
Here we go. Give Ben all those 70s players. How many Super Bowls does he get? Because here's the thing, Ben's not a pretty boy. Ben's a tough son of a bitch. No, my man played with broken noses and 100%. Fucking shattered ankles, and sometimes he drummed it up a little bit, but he still went out there and did it. I mean, that game against the Ravens where he had a broken nose and it was like pointing this way, dude. I mean, that's mad respect. No. So like, you plug Ben in that era, how many rings does he get? Like, I would almost want to argue that he would have more than 10 because. Oh, see there. I don't know. Tough, huh?
I don't know if he'd have more.
Because Ben,
different era.
Ben would call his own plays whenever he had enough of fucking Canada and fucking Randy Fichtner. My man would dial up his own shit. So like, I think he could have done that era, and I think with those guys, he may have been even another Terry Bradshaw, or maybe even better. Maybe he would have had 4+ rings. It's a hell of an argument to have.
It's possible.
It just hit me like, holy shit. You know, he could have done that.
You could make the argument. Maybe not. I was going to say his weapons were better, but probably not. Probably not. No. Well, I didn't even mention Franco Harris either. Would you take Franco Harris over him?
No, I don't want that bad karma on me. I'm taking Franco Harris.
No. I think Ben was better.
No, not going to disrespect the dead. Not disrespecting the dead today, buddy. Yeah, taking Franco.
So I thought it was going to be an interesting conversation. It did turn out to be because there's so many good players, and it's tough. And to compare eras is tough. To compare different sides of the ball is tough. How do you compare, a defensive lineman to a quarterback? How do you? I mean, it's tough, but it's fun. It's a fun exercise. I mean.
Yeah, I know. I can't say that. I can't agree with them that Ben's the best of all time. No, I won't go that far, but I will defend him as far as a top 5 to 8. There's no doubt he should be in that conversation.
Let's see some of these comments.
Yeah.
Steelers Freak said Ben can process. Terry Bradshaw never could. Ben would tear up the 70s easy D schemes. Terry Bradshaw played like Fields today. That's not fair. That's not really fair because, like you said.
He compared him to Fields. My man cannot let Fields go. Like
Terry Bradshaw called all his plays. To say he can't process when basically he's calling everything.
Yeah, right. You had to go to process to call plays. So, I don't know. But I just like how he put Fields in there again.
He's.
Let's see. Darth said, "I remember offenses literally running away, play after play, trying to avoid Lambert. It wasn't until he started to age that they realized he lost steps and they could run to him, like LT from the Giants." Huh.
He was a beast. I mean, you look at his go to his Wikipedia page. I mean, he's 10-time Pro Bowler, 9-time All-Pro, Defensive Player of the Year a couple times. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. All 70s team. I think he even made the all 80s team somehow.
Oh, really? Wow.
He played until he was into 1984. I think, or 83. It's tough. It was a good conversation because it's kind of slow right now. We don't have much going on, even with the rookie mini camp, there wasn't much.
No, but that was a good exercise, and I enjoyed it because it's tough. It's a tough conversation to have.
It's definitely a tough conversation. Dave, that's all I got. Unless you got anything else.
Not really.
All right, you can follow me on X at SteelersSank16. Email the show at daver@steelerssanctuary.com. Subscribe to the podcast and our YouTube channel, guys. We really appreciate it. I'd like to thank the guys that come on every week and give us comments. We really appreciate you guys jumping on. It makes it fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Dave, give me your stuff. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, you can find me on X at DMC3SSP. You can find me on TikTok at Steelers Sanctuary Podcast or at SteelSankPod. I'm literally on every social media you can think of. So just look me up under one of these things. If you want to bullshit me or whatever. And don't forget, I got sports books, guys, if you're into that kind of stuff at signupexpert.com/nothings.
All right. Until next time, thanks for listening to the Steelers Sanctuary Podcast.